And I wanted to visit with you about vitamins that I think are most absolutely essential to your health. And there's one in particular that I think, above all, is the most important of all the vitamins you could ever take. And what do you, I mean, you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we got a whole bunch of them. We got E, K, you know, C. So which one do you think, if I had, which one do you think if I just said one vitamin?
D.
D? Okay, D. How many say D? Raise your hand. Okay. What's another one?
C.
C. How many say C? Raise your hand. Okay. Pretty even. Well, I want to tell you what, and they're both very important, but I'm going to go with vitamin C. And I'm going to tell you why I went with C. And this goes back to 1991. I got a copy of Dr. Linus Pauling and Dr. Matthias Rath's study on vitamin C and heart disease. And I read it. And it made so much sense to me, complete sense. I said, I'm going to adopt that philosophy. And I'm not sure my doctors here, I know our doctors agree with this, but I'm not sure they have the same recommendations on vitamin C as I have and what I use. Vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin. It's made by all mammals. All mammals make vitamin C, except for human beings, primates, which are monkeys, and guinea pigs. For some reason, we don't make vitamin C, but it's interesting. Vitamin C in all the mammals is made in the liver, and it requires 4 specific enzymes. Humans have 3 of those enzymes. I don't know if God didn't make us without vitamin C, or whether over time it's just kind of evolved that way that we didn't somehow, we quit making the enzyme, but we don't make vitamin C anymore. And the animals that make vitamin C, the mammals that do make vitamin C, make it in the equivalent of 1,000 milligrams, and it varies from animal to animal, but this is a good per 25 pounds of body weight. For every 25 pounds they weigh, they make 1,000 milligrams. That means if the animal weighs 100 pounds, it's going to make 4,000 milligrams. It weighs 200 pounds, it's going to make 8,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C. And interestingly enough, all the mammals that make vitamin C don't develop any heart disease. They don't get plaques in their arteries. When you do autopsies on these animals and all that, they don't have any heart disease. But people do have heart disease. So Linus Pauling and Matthias Rath thought they came up with this premise, or asked the question, could it be that heart disease is caused by a deficiency of vitamin C in individuals? Well, what is the disease caused by vitamin C deficiency? Does anybody know the name? Pardon me? No? Scurvy. Scurvy. And scurvy was really discovered and it afflicted, you know what profession it afflicted? Sailors. In the old days, before they had steamships and motors on ships, you had to sail the seas, and you'd sail them for months on end. You'd be out at sea, and you'd eat, the British sailors, you'd eat water and bread and water basically. And what they noticed is a lot of the sailors, they would get, their tissue would become very friable, and they would bruise very easily, and their gums would bleed, and then they would die. They died of scurvy. There was a captain somewhere around 1780s who somehow or another had some limes on his ship, and they started eating limes. And then his sailors didn't have, he noticed his sailors, none of the sailors on the trip got any scurvy. There's always several of them that would die of scurvy, and they didn't die. That was kind of odd. So he started using limes on the ships, and the British sailors started requiring that every ship went out had limes on it. That's why British sailors to this day are called limeys. And it was enough vitamin C in there to keep them from getting scurvy, which causes arterial fragility. It makes the arteries very fragile. They break down. And the reason is that vitamin C, you need vitamin C to make a substance called collagen. And collagen is a protein that lines the inner linings of all the arteries. It's the protein that keeps the arteries nice and smooth and clean. And when you don't have enough vitamin C, and when you get deficient in vitamin C, we've got collagen that holds our skin together, our cells together. It holds the blood vessels together. It's the glue that holds everything together. So when you have low levels of vitamin C, then everything becomes very friable and just breaks down and tears, and it's poor. You can't make enough collagen.